Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys another client makeover. This look is going to be my go-to glam bridal tutorial. So I'm going to show you guys how I create this look on this lovely lady. Let's begin. So first off, I assessed her skin. She does have oilier skin. In order to make sure that the makeup stays on for extra long time, I am using and priming her skin with the Nivea Men Aftershave Balm. Like I've mentioned before, I love to use my fingers to really just feel what I'm working with. I love to feel the surface of my client's skin. I'm also going to be putting on a lightweight lip balm, so it kind of just sits there and starts to soak into her lips, so they're nice and moisturized by the time we put on her lipstick. To give her skin a nice glow from within, I am first going to be smoothing over Kevyn Aucoin's liquid lighting fluid. Like I said, this gives a nice light and glow from underneath her foundation. I'm then taking Tarte's Wipeout correcting palette and taking the green concealer, or corrector I should say, from that palette and just covering up any blemishes or extra redness. I'm then just swatching and foundation matching her. I am putting her in the Milani 2-in-1 foundation. This is the shade 02 in Natural with a large Morphe foundation brush. I'm going to be pressing this onto her skin. I don't like to go in circular motions with my foundation or anything like that, especially for my clients, because when you press it into the skin, it not only provides a fuller coverage, but since you're pressing it in, it sticks a lot longer. You're pressing it on, you're not wiping it on. So a little trick for you guys there. I also like to smooth some over the neck and over the ears of my brides, just in case their hair is going to be up and they're wearing an updo and photography won't catch their ear being a different color. Then for the under eye area, I'm using that same Tarte correcting palette and placing over the number 4 shade to conceal her redness. Then placing over LA Girl's Creamy Beige Pro Concealer just to match her foundation color, and also along her nostrils where she had some extra redness. And then using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to blend this all out and smooth this over. And also using patting motions so we don't create any crease lines. I'm then taking a damp Real Techniques sponge and taking the Anastasia Contour Cream Kit in the light shades using the shade Banana, placing this in an upside down triangle underneath her eye area, over across her entire nose, and also in the center of her forehead. I'm then going to be taking the color Light Sculpt and I'm going to be just pressing this over her hairline, or up against the very edge of her hairline I should say, just so we can start bronzing it up and also lightly contouring as well. And her forehead, I'm just going to be evening out and balancing it, bringing it down a little bit more in the center. Then taking the same color Light Sculpt and using the e.l.f. stippling brush to just gently place over a small amount underneath her jaw area, and then on the side of the brush in circular motions, aiming her contour down to the corner of her mouth, not connecting it, just aiming it down in that direction, and using circular motions in an upward direction to blend this all out. Take your time with blending out the contour. The last thing you want is sharp, harsh lines. For the nose contour, she doesn't have a very broad nose. She actually has a very cute small nose. So I didn't want to do too much contouring as to change the shape of her nose. I actually just wanted to do contouring, but more for definition purposes. So I'm just using a small brush to smooth that over on the 2 sides, and then using whatever is left to go over her lip line. I'm then taking Laura Mercier's translucent setting powder and packing this on with the flat side of that sponge underneath her eye area, center of the nose, chin, basically anywhere where we highlighted. And this is going to bake while we work on the eyes. For brows, I like to start off by brushing through the brow hair using a spoolie, just to make sure all the brow hairs are going in the same direction. If they're all over the place, it makes it that much harder to fill them in. To fill them in, I am using Anastasia's soft brown brow powder and taking the edge of my brush, starting off with her tail and doing the top half of her tail, then lining the bottom half, and then using whatever is left on my brush to fill in the center. Then I'm taking the darker shade of the duo and just starting to connect the beginning baseline of the brow and whatever is left, pushing upwards at the beginning to create that gradual effect, and then just lining the top hair of her brow, going in the same direction as her hair growth, filling it in the center, and using our spoolie to just blend and brush everything through. To clean up the brow, I'm using Benefit's Buoyant Concealer in the shade 02 and with the Anastasia number 7, I believe this is, or 15 brush. It's her smallest angle brush to clean up. Only the bottom, by the way. And then I am taking MAC's Paint Pot in Soft Ochre to prime her eye before pressing over a matte ivory shadow all over her entire lid space. I'm then going to be just setting her brows with some clear brow gel just to make sure that they don't go anywhere, and this will dry as we're doing her shadow. I'm then taking a Luxie blending brush and just placing a very light taupe matte shade in her crease, starting from the outer V of her eye and working my way inward because I want the most deposit of color to be on the outer corner of her eye. I don't want it to start very harshly in the crease or in the beginning. Then I'm just going to be gradually building up that intensity with that same color until I get the desired depth that I want. Then with that same brush, I'm going to be picking up a much cooler tone brown, and again pressing this and blending it only on the outer V first, and then whatever excess we have, pushing it in towards the center and in towards the crease. Then switching over to a much smaller blending brush, I'm going to be taking a very deep, more warm tone brown, more of like a chocolate tone, and very carefully just placing this on the outer V of the eye only. When you start to get into darker colors, especially matte shades, you want to just work your way gradually. It's much easier to add on than to take off. Then picking up a black matte shadow, and as you can tell, I'm strictly staying in this small area because it can get really crazy with black really fast. So in order to avoid that mess, I am just lightly going in circular motions in the outer V, and then whatever's left, just very lightly touching it in the crease. I'm then using a real hair fluff brush just to blend any of the edges together. Real hair brushes are great for this. Then whatever's left as far as the paint pot on the brush we used to apply it, I'm just going to make the beginning of her lid tacky. And then picking up a very metallic champagne color with a flat shader brush, I'm going to be packing this on to the beginning of the eye, only working my way up into the crease. This kind of creates an illusion of a cut crease as well, but it also makes her eye appear to have a deeper crease since the line is going to be so strictly outlined. And then just working my way up, making sure the whole curve goes evenly all around, and just blending very little onto the outer V of the eye. I'm then highlighting her brow bone with the Balm Luminizer. For eyeliner, I am taking Inglott's gel liner in 77, which is the blackest black liner. I like to start off on the center and then work my way across to the end of her lashes, and then starting at the beginning tear duct and just smoothing over that line to connect it to the center. Take your time with eyeliner. By the way, this is my favorite one to use, especially for brides, because it does not move, it does not budge. Then with her eyes open, I'm creating the baseline of her wing with the very tip of my angle brush, and then having her eyes closed once again and connecting the tail of that wing to the center, and then just elongating that wing as needed to match her other eye. I'm then going to have her look up and then using the flat side of my brush to just press some of this eyeliner onto her waterline. And then whatever is left, I'm just going to smooth over at the very root of her lashes so we can have a very smoky effect when we start to place her shadow. I'm then taking a flat definer brush and pressing up some matte black shadow up against that eyeliner to not only set it, but to also start to smoke it out. I'm then pressing up a matte brown shade over that black line and then using a pencil brush with a taupe matte shade to just blend it all out. This creates that very smoked out gradual effect. Then popping some of that mercier luminizer back into the very inner C and tear duct of her eye to open it up. I love to use just a regular eyeshadow brush to do this. I'm then taking Anastasia's contour and highlight palette. I'm using the shade Banana and just with a sheer powder brush, brushing this over any highlighted areas. I'm then taking Graftobian's medium bronzer with a large powder brush and brushing this along her hairline, the tip of her nose, a little bit on her jaw and chin, and then also on her cheekbones. This just creates a nice flush of color and creates some bronzy goldness back into her skin tone, which I just think looks really, really healthy. I'm then taking a Luxie angle brush and with Anastasia's Fawn contour powder, just deepening up that contour a little bit more. First applying it and then using the flat side of the brush to blend it out. I'm also going to be doing the same thing for her nose contour, just redefining it with this flat Sonia Kashuk brush as well. And then taking a small eyeshadow brush, I'm just going to be using Fawn along her lip line just to reinforce the contouring that we did with her lips, and it creates a fuller effect. I'm then taking Mary Luminizer once again and popping that on the center of her nose. I really love to focus highlight right at that swoop of the nose because this is going to catch light no matter what because of the natural dip that our nose has, and it just has a nice glow to it. I'm also going to be putting a little bit at the tip of her nose as well. I'm going to be placing some on her cupid's bow to just lift up her lip slightly, and also on the center of her chin. And then taking Bobbi Brown's eye blender brush to apply Mary Luminizer to the top of her cheekbones. I love this glow. It looks gorgeous on her as it does on many different skin tones. And I love to just go in circular motions to apply this and pretty much just add on as much as I see fit. I'm then going to be taking Bobbi Brown's Coral Blush. This is very similar to NARS Orgasm Blush, which is super popular. I love this color because it's so universal, and it has a little bit of gold, a little bit of pink, and of course coral in it as well. I'm stamping this across her cheeks from apple to temple. I'm then taking Ardell Double Up Lashes. I love their Double Up line. If you want full lashes, this is the lash line to go with. I'm applying them with House of Lashes Dark Tone Adhesive. Once they are on, I'm going to have her open her eye and look all the way up while I apply some mascara to her bottom lashes. And I normally don't apply mascara to falsies, but for brides, I do not mind applying mascara afterwards and getting some on the falsies because this will bind her real lashes closer to the false ones. I'm then taking a mini eyelash curler and just squeezing her natural lashes to the false ones so they're not going anywhere. For her lip color, I am using Ofra Cosmetics liquid lipstick in Pasadena, and this is just the perfect nude shade. I love the shade. I also really love the Ofra liquid lipstick formula. It lasts all day, smells really good, and their colors are spot on, and their pigmentation is spot on. I slowly like to inch my way around the lip line as to create a perfect outline because I'm not a big believer in lip liners. I'm then taking Anastasia's lip gloss in Undressed and just placing this on the center of her lips only, and then just feathering it out ever so slightly to the edges. This creates a nice sheen to create the illusion of fuller lips, but also a slight ombre. I'm then setting her off with some Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray and just taking a little bit more of the Benefit Buoyant Concealer in shade number 2 just to cover up the blemish if you have any, and since it's such a matte concealer, it's okay. It won't do anything to the foundation. And then this is the look of approval. And then finally, this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This, like I said, this is my glam bride go-to look, but I will have a more softer look coming up for those of you who want to do a au naturel glam look for brides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.